everyone. Welcome back to Map TV. Today we're going to be doing something fun. We're going to be making art inspired by a famous artist named Jackson Pollock. His paintings were categorized as abstract impressionism. However, he was best known for the technique he used to create this art, which was he would drip, drizzle, and pour paint onto the canvas, meaning that he would never touch the canvas, not even with a paintbrush. If he used a paintbrush, it was up in the air. This is called action painting because it requires you to move your body in order to create the designs on your art piece. For example, you can move your elbow or your shoulder to maneuver the paint onto the canvas. So depending on how you move your body will depend on how your painting comes out. It's kind of like creating the art in the air before it actually falls onto your canvas. Kind of like an art workout. Kind of interesting, huh? Well, in order to create this painting, we have to use fluid paint. Now, fluid paint basically means paint that is a little more loose and a little more runny than usual. So, I'll show you how to create the fluid art by, let's move these out of the way, by using ratios. So, we're using a 3:1 ratio. We are going to be using water to dilute our paint or make it runny. I'll show you with green here. So, and I'm using acrylic paints, by the way, acrylic paint. I'm gonna use a half a teaspoon. I have my little measuring spoon here. I'm gonna use half a teaspoon of water. Here's the 1 part of the ratio. Remember 3:1, so 3 parts paint, 1 part water. So here's my 1 part water. And I'm going to use my 3 parts paint. I'm going to pour it in the cup. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and I'm going to use my teaspoon here to mix it. But if you want to, you can use a spoon or a popsicle stick or whatever you need to use to get them combined together. Give it a quick stir. And see how my paint is more fluid, more runny? It'll be able to glide across my canvas a little easier. So, that one's ready. I went ahead and I already made fluid paint with all the rest of my colors. And you're gonna need fluid paint because we're gonna be creating 3 different kinds of Jackson Pollock inspired paintings. For this first method, I have my paint, I have my canvas. Now, if you don't have a canvas, that's okay. You can use just a regular sheet of paper, construction paper, or you can find a piece of cardboard lying around your house. That would work too. But I do highly recommend we cover our work surface, our area, because we don't want to get anything dirty. We would prefer to do this outside. You can use newspaper on the floor, plastic bags on the floor, an old sheet you have so you won't get anything dirty because it's kind of messy. If you have an apron you want to put on or old clothes, you might want to ask your parents if you can use any old clothes that you don't mind getting dirty. So protect the paint area surface, but I think we have our paint, we have my canvas. I'm going to be using a paintbrush, but remember, I can't touch the canvas, but I'm going to be using this to flicker the paint. I'm going to be using a ruler to also flicker the paint or splash the paint. If you have straws, you can use a straw to put the paint on, or an old toothbrush if you have laying around the house to also pour the paint on. So, I think we're ready. Let's get started. All right, so I brought my paint over here to my workspace. I covered with black paper because I don't want to get anything dirty. You can use an old bed sheet. You can use an old sheet. Here's my canvas. You can also use just regular paper. Here are my tools. I actually found this turkey baster to kind of suction up the paint if I wanted to. And my ruler, it's an old ruler. I don't care if it gets painted, but make sure you ask your parents for permission. Okay, it looks like we're ready to get started. We can put some music on to inspire you. Some slow music, some fast music, whatever you'd like. But I'm ready, okay? So here we go. There you go. It took a while, took some workout, but I got it done. I just kept layering, and layering. And something interesting I found was that if you flick the paint from up here, it gives you a different splash effect than if you were to go really close. As you can see, I got my hands all painted. Make sure you wear gloves if you have some. If not, make sure to wash your hands. And I had to pick up my hair. It was fun, but a little messy. So make sure you really cover your area. But here you go. Here's my masterpiece. And I kept layering it until I did not see any white on my canvas. So I hope you have fun. Let's go show you another way to make his art. That first one was fun, wasn't it? I'm still out of breath. Okay, so we are going to move on to our second art project. This one, we are going to be doing spin art. So we're going to need to spin the canvas around, and the fluid paint is just going to fly off, creating another masterpiece. So in order to prepare our canvas, we are going to need, of course, the canvas, a ruler, some string. I'm using some cotton string here on a twine, some scissors, and I'm using some tape here. Let's go ahead and assemble our canvas. What we're going to do is we're going to flip this over, and we're going to measure out our string. Now I already went ahead and cut out some string earlier, but we are going to cut out one more piece, and I'm using 2 feet of string, which is 24 inches. So here's 1, 2. Okay, then we're going to cut. All right. And we're going to need to do this 8 times because we are going to attach them to the sides of the canvas. So let's see. find the end of this tape here, cut a little piece, and for the first one, I'm going to go right and attach it to the side of the canvas. So I'm going to put the tape here. I'm going to put the tape here. So this is one, and we kind of want to center it in the middle between this point and this point. So we're going to go all on the corners. We're going to put 1, 2, 3 on the top, 1, 2, 3 on the bottom, and then 1 here, 1 here. So basically we're going to have 8 going all the way around. And I taped all my strings on the sides. So we have a total of 8 strings, 4 on the corners, and then 1 in between each corner all the way around. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick up our strings after we put the paint on, of course. Make sure they're all even. Am I forgetting the string? Oh no. Make sure they're all even, and we're going to twist and then spin. Okay? Let's go prepare our work area, put some paint on this, and we'll get spinning. Okay, so we are going to bring our canvas to an area I prepared here earlier. I went ahead and put paper on the ground so I won't get the ground dirty. You can use newspaper, plastic bags, or an old sheet you have laying around in the house. So once we did that, we're going to put our canvas on the top in the center, and we're going to bring our strings out, spread them all out. And now comes the fun part. We are going to pour the paint. Now we can arrange the paint however you want or however you wish. And I'll start off with all these colors I have here. You can choose whatever colors you want. I would suggest at least 3 different colors. And let's see. I'm going to start off with this blue. And you can arrange it however you want. Now remember, you're not allowed to touch the canvas. Right? So I'm going to pour a little bit of blue here, a little bit of blue here. I'm going to do all the blue color first. Okay. Now we are done. I added all the paint I wanted. I just put some big old blocks of paint. And we are going to get ready to spin this. But first, I'm going to move the paint out of the way, and I'm going to put some plastic bags on my shoes because I don't want to get my shoes dirty. So, you have some plastic bags laying around, so just put them on your feet. For this method of painting, we are going to be doing something called the flip cup technique. Now the flip cup basically is where we fill a cup full of paint and we put it on our canvas and flip it over, and it creates a nice effect. For this version, you're going to need your canvas. I have a small one right here. I think it's 8 by 10. You're going to need your chosen colors of paints. I have several right here. I'm using popsicle sticks, or you can use plastic spoons if it's easier to scoop out the paint. And remember, the paint, we had watered it down to a 3-to-1 ratio with paint and water. And then 3 cups. I'm using 2 cups here, flipped over. They can be all the same or whatever works best for you, but I have 2 plastic cups. That way we can put our canvas on and we can let the paint drip onto the ground or the table. Of course, you got to protect your work surface with this paper I have here, and then a cup where I'm actually going to be filling all my paint together. So let's get started. I'm going to use blue and purple and try to make like a galaxy effect. Yeah, galaxy effect. All right, so let's do our dirty pour. I'm going to use some purple. This is a straw I have here to help me pour. You can use a spoon or the popsicle sticks to help you pour it in. And we're just going to fill this about halfway. So all the paint combined needs to be about halfway of the cup. So put some blue in. I like blue. Let's put some blue. Whoops. And just enough. See, it's almost halfway filled. I'm going to put a little orange, just a hint of orange. Okay. A hint of red. There we go. And some yellow. Okay, we'll see what this creates. All right, so we have our paint filled about halfway. Now comes the fun part. We're gonna get our canvas and flip it upside down and line it up, put it on top of the cup. We want to center it as best we can. I know it's a little hard to see, but we want to center it on top of the can as best we can. We want to center it on top of the cup as best we can. So I think that's good. Ooh, I'm kind of nervous. Let's see. We're going to flip it over. So you want to put one hand on top, one hand on the cup, and we're going to flip it over, and I'm going to place it on top of here to let all the paint drip. Okay? All right, you ready? Ooh, let's see. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm gonna place it on top of here carefully. See if I could scoot this over for you. Okay, I'm gonna let it go. Ooh, 1, 2, 3. Oh. All right, now you can move your canvas however you want to get the paint to pour off to the side. You want to make sure the paint gets all over on the sides. So let it just drip. Kind of looks cool. Look at all the purple. You can see little streaks of purple on here. I'm going to set this down. I kind of want it to cover all the corners. Okay, there we go. So we let it drip. And I'm going to go wash my hands, and then we're going to put some white paint on here so we can try to create our galaxy. I'll be right back. All right, so I have my hands clean. And now, to create more of a galaxy look, I'm going to use my white paint here. And I have a little paintbrush, and we're going to splatter some white specks on this canvas. Here we go. Woo. There we go. That looks awesome. Let me see. Might do one more time. Dip it. Kind of shake off the extra paint, and then we're gonna, I'm using my index finger to kind of just gently stroke the bristles. You do it harder, it gets a bigger blob. You do it lightly, little stripes. I think that's enough. I really like my painting. And that's it, we just let it out to dry, leave it out to dry. All right, I have my hair back down, I have my sweater back on, we are done. We created 3 art pieces. First, we did our splatter paint and our splash paint. Then we did our spin art. And lastly, we did our flip cup method. Now, do you remember what artist inspired us to create these 3 pieces? Anybody? Anybody? Right, Jackson Pollock. And he used action painting. Do you remember what action painting is? I know you know. Action painting is when we use our body to move and create movement in our canvas. So we transfer the movement from our body onto the canvas. All right, so one other question. What medium did we use to create our paintings? Anybody? Yes, that's right. We used fluid paint, which we created ourselves by adding water, on canvas. All right, so which one was your favorite? They're all really nice. I personally like this one. This one was the most fun to create for me. If you decide to recreate any of these art pieces, make sure you send us your photos and videos to map@cityofmontclair.org. Oh, and one last thing. Every artist signs their masterpiece.